Hello, my astrology friends. This is Lada from Astrolada.com, and these are your November 2023 video horoscopes for each of the 12 signs, with an intro talking about the world events as well. And I've been looking forward to talk about this month because there is something very important happening this month, which is Mars and the Sun are joining together. This happens once every 2.2 years. And as you'll see from my presentation, it actually determines some of the most important tasks and problems that humanity and the individual person will be working on for the next 2.5 years after this conjunction. So we'll cover each of the signs and what it can mean for the world. And also another very good news that I have is that Saturn is turning direct. And that's good news because certain karmic or complicated situations or situations that were stuck will start moving forward, will start unfolding, will start having resolutions. So this is exciting. Just before I start, I want to let you know that my 2024 video horoscopes, 2.5 hours for each sign, you can pre-order them already for 30% discount. They will be released in November, but anyone who pre-orders will get the 30%, and you will be sent on the date of the release on the 17th of November your specific videos on or bunch of videos, ascendant, sun and moon, whatever you choose. And also my 2023 astrology calendar, which I've been doing for 5 years now, and it's very successful with all transits for the year, when planets become visible and invisible, the meaning of all transits, the meaning of all new moons and full moons. They're not specific for you, they're general, but you have like a calendar. It's the 120, 50 pages usually every year, and it's interactive. So you click on the date and it takes you to the meaning of that transit and the events that are happening then, so you can plan your year ahead. But now let's go to this Mars Sun conjunction. First, I'll speak a little bit about the world. Why is it so important? Because the Sun Mars conjunction shows where our biggest battles and fights and our biggest breakthroughs are happening for the next 2.5 years. Let me just remind you, in 2019, towards the end, the Sun and Mars met in Virgo. So what happened for the next 2.5 years? Virgo is a sign of sickness, illness, taking care of your health. Well, we had a pandemic. All the efforts, which is Mars, of the world and all the bright minds, the sun of the world, were getting together to solve this issue or to mess it up, whatever. So that's what happened last time, the time before last. Then the next 2021, towards October, Sun and Mars met in Libra. And it meant that for the next 2 years till now, the theme was very different. It wasn't, so that's when COVID hysteria started dying out and the cases going down and the lockdowns going down, but a new set of problems appeared, which was Libra to solve. So what happened? Libra is one of the signs of peace and war, or lack of peace. Then we had the eruption of the war in Ukraine. And what happened? Libra is about taking sides. Libra is about negotiations, is about treaties, is about diplomatic sanctions or diplomatic agreements. Well, all the world for 2.5 years was focused on this Libra issue of, and the world actually split into two factions. BRICS and the Western world. The Western world, which is more the globalists, as they call them, and BRICS, which they said, like, we don't want to follow the rules of this agenda. So the world split in two, literally. In Libra also rules business, trading agreements. There was like such kind of rearrangements of alliances. So that was the hugest focus after that. And now we're coming for the next one. So what is going to be the next set of problems? And you're seeing already the war in Ukraine is almost like out of everyone's mind. But where Mars and the Sun are going to meet now in November on the 18th. And we can feel it a month before that, like we started. They're going to meet in Scorpio. And Scorpio is not as forgiving sign as Libra. Scorpio can be one of the most devastating signs. It can be one of the most destructive signs. It's very profound as well. So Scorpio reveals truths, reveals hidden secrets, brings to the surface everything that is dirty, the dirty skeletons, the dirty laundry, as you say, of the world. All conspiracies, all anything that has been done on the closed doors, they will be a focus for the next 2 years. But Scorpio is a sign of war. Scorpio is and now we're talking that is more dangerous one. And I pray to God it doesn't escalate to something more extreme, but Scorpio is a sign of terrorism, of war, of extreme hostilities. Libra, at least there was some kind of negotiation there. They managed to piece, the balance a little bit. It didn't spread like fire. When Scorpio and the Sun and Mars join in Scorpio, the next 2.5 years can be under a lot of like extreme reactions, scorpionic power struggles in the world, rebellions, it's physical violence as well. It's likely extreme hatred, but also it will show us 2.5 years period of people doing extreme acts of heroism as well. There is the other spectrum of Scorpio, and Scorpio can be, the destructive force, but also the resurrecting force, the extremely healing force. And they're meeting at the 25th degrees in Scorpio. And that's in tropical astrology is the sign Scorpio, and in sidereal, your actual constellations. It's also the sign Scorpio. The sign Scorpio is basically, so both the constellation Scorpio and the sign Scorpio. So there is both astrologies, Western and Vedic, agree. It's in the sign of the Scorpion, near the close of the Scorpion. It's actually, in Vedic astrology, this lunar mansion, we call it, is called Vishaka. And it's the lunar mansion of power. This is one of the most powerful lunar mansions. And this lunar mansion is this lunar mansion of war as well, the warrior king. So again, these are key words, warrior king. So at the personal level, you become a warrior somewhere. And this warrior king, they describe Vishaka as the most focused and concentrated power, horse with blinkers, nothing distracts you. You can't see others' opinion like Libra now. It's like action. You straight, you charge, you don't care, you can trample others towards your goal. So collectively the energy will be like that. Governments, people, like unapologetic, kind of almost ruthless energy. My son has his moon there when he's born. Anyone who has their moon around the last degrees of tropical, from the middle of tropical Scorpio towards the later ones, they're Vishaka. Focused, concentrated, obsessive quality, which is fantastic for a person because these people can be so successful. This is the power, the lunar nakshatra of power and purpose. So whatever this conjunction is happening in your horoscope, we'll cover the 12 signs. You'd have unflinching obsession, passion, dedication to pursue something there, to wage a war against something, to overcome some issue, and you can even, there is a saying that for this lunar nakshatra, the ends justifies the means, which is not true. We have to be careful, but with this, so we have, especially in the political world and collectively, if people or rulers are acting that the end justifies the means, imagine what things can happen. Scorpio rules atomic energy as well. Scorpio rules destruction. Scorpio rules anything to do with poisoning. Scorpio rules anything to do with death, massive death as a possibility. So we'll have to be very careful. But on a personal level, again, collectively, this is dangerous energy. Collectively, it's where we have to pray. But when it comes to personal energy, often the individual can transform this energy in a very positive way. As I said, purpose, focus, indiminisable ambition. this Vishaka part of the Scorpio constellation and sign, this part of this, each sign is split into different lunar mansions. It's so purposeful, so ambitious. So you can do kind of a miracle, hero's work, uncomparable achievements of willpower in that area of your life that the Mars and the Sun activates. I'm not saying already from November, but you have 2.5 years to work on that. So we'll cover each of the 12 signs. But there is also a bit more danger because this Sun Mars conjunction is opposite, which is very powerful aspect, Uranus. And Uranus is very close to the star Algol, which is a star of revenge, a bit of a destruction. Uranus is very explosive, boom, 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 and you see what's happening already. As I said, astrological influences can start happening up to a month before. And explosions, everything, even kind of destruction. There is Scorpio rules volcanoes as well, so think about such kind of Uranus on Algol in Earth sign, even the earth shaking in a sense. Oh, I sound so apocalyptic, but Scorpio is apocalyptic sign. Here is representation of Scorpio behind me. The kids made it yesterday. So all of those things are Scorpio, which is howling, scary, spooky. But it's also the rebirth of the soul. It's the soul. It's almost like the soul is thrown into the fire of a volcano, spun there and brought out purified and clean. Pure without all the dirt is burned off of it, all the muck, all the pain, all the trauma. It's traumatic for a bit, but then it's this resurrection light like a phoenix. So this can happen in your personal life over the next 2.5 years in a certain area of your life. But because Uranus is involved, I think the events will be sudden that happen. They will be powerful. They will shake us up, and on a personal level as well. Collectively, there will be a powerful involvement because Uranus is a social planet of fast-moving trends, viral trends, and anything to do with very powerful coming together of people for a cause. So social movements of any sorts, and this will be shaky. But it's violent. I mean, Mars opposition Uranus and the Sun. The three planets are quite fiery, quite explosive, sudden as well. Things will be developing very fast. Things are speeding up for the next 2.5 years. We have a saving aspect to this conjunction of Sun and Mars, those guys. This is Neptune is making exact trine to the Sun. Mars conjunction at 25 degrees Scorpio from 25 degrees Pisces. So the trine is divine grace. Neptune is divine unconditional love, also divine grace. Pisces is, the principles that teachers like Buddha and Christ taught us. Forgiveness, love your enemy. We're all one, embrace it from a higher perspective. What will help us? God's grace to alleviate those tensions, to alleviate things getting really destructive. This darker side of Scorpio. Neptune, prayers, people coming together in collective meditations, God's divine grace. Just because God is graceful, God loves us and gives us extra chances always. Faith, knowing that there is a purpose and meaning for that. And of course, forgiveness. Forgiveness is something that is going to possibly even solve those problems. Softer approach. On a personal level, again, prayer, having faith in higher power and knowing it's taking you somewhere. So this is about this conjunction. The other thing is Saturn is turning direct. But we'll look at this individually. I wanted to look with you specifically about this combination, how it will affect the world. And what we can expect for the next 2.5 years, and because of Uranus involved on Algol, that will be very active next year as well, the energy will get very shaky. And Uranus, and by the way, Scorpio and Taurus, because they're both on the axis of this conjunction, they're financial signs. Scorpio rules the banking industry, where you put mutual finances. Scorpio rules hedge funds. Scorpio rules anything to do where many people gather their money at one place. Scorpio rules from the earth, the treasures underground. So that will be petrol, oil, anything that you dig out from underneath the ground. So these are resources underneath the ground. There can be some big focus on that in the next 2.5 years. We already have that happening with petrol and so on, but I think it might escalate because of Scorpio. There might be some battle there because of such resources, or some power stances and decisions taken because of that. Of course, Uranus is in Taurus. It's connected to the resources above the earth, food, wood, stones, all of those things. The prices basically of commodities is Taurus as well, with Uranus there. So it's a financial access, personal money, big money, oligarch money. Scorpio, Taurus is the bounties of the earth, and Taurus is the food that grows on earth. And so this is where I see the tension and the biggest changes happening. So the financial industry, the food industry as well, this access of food and finances, where the focus of willpower, energy, and having to solve problems, but of course also crisis, because Mars has this energy of crisis and something you have to battle for, something you have to put your energy like a soldier to fix, to improve. And hopefully, but it's about 2.5 year cycle. And I hope that this war that started in the Middle East, and guess what? Middle East is ruled by Scorpio as well in ancient literature. And just like less than a month before that, we see before Mars Sun conjunction there, it's escalating. I really hope it doesn't escalate further, but it seems it's again going to be like a 2 year thing happening. That starts there, and I hope it doesn't involve more of the world. That's why this Neptune maybe will be helping. All right, so that's it. Now let's look at each of the 12 signs. Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising. Gemini, the month starts with Saturn turning direct in your 10th house. So it's been retrograde for the last 4 months. And if you've seen any kind of delays with work or obstacles or dissatisfaction with your career, or if you've had some problems with authority figures, like with parents, with father, or with bosses, or with institutions, if there was any kind of delays there, blockages or problems, they start untangling gradually in November. Yes, Saturn turns direct around the 3rd, 4th, but it starts moving forward slowly. So over November and towards the next months, you'll see things are starting to move with more ease there. If there are some difficulties, they're resolved now. Or if you've been working hard on some project, career project, or changing something in your career, or changing something in the structure of your work, or changing something overall in kind of your worldly responsibilities and duties, or putting extra work to restructure something, to organize in a different way. When Saturn starts moving direct now, you'd start seeing the results. Things will become easier. It's not going to be as hard. And again, as I said, any delays or blockages or problems probably for finding a job or career or moving a project forward will improve and start moving ahead. And you can be completing something and starting to see the results now. Or if you had delays with institutions and such authority figures, they ease off. Or if you've been very hard on yourself, especially the early degrees Gemini, they felt it, the first 7-8 degrees Gemini, Saturn been transiting, squaring there, you'd notice a bit more of a relief, you becoming a bit easier on yourself, the negative blocking or kind of self-moderating or self-criticizing voice or external voice of criticism from an authority figure or someone in power can lessen and become more manageable. So problems there can start, and for the next 7 months, Saturn will be moving direct, which is great because you can forge forward with your goals and plans in your career, with your impact on the world that you have, with your you can get a lot done here. I know so many Geminis now, that Gemini rising in particular, I've been watching, that in positions of high authority or responsibility, or that they're changing career in some way, or that they're really taking control of their life, because Saturn is on top of the chart, taking control of their life, being more responsible. And now when Saturn starts moving direct, they'll start seeing the results of the efforts they've been putting or they'll start finding new areas of authority, new areas of for self-expression through their career, and new areas to organize and to put more structure in their life. So this is about it for Saturn turning direct. The other very big event, this is the one that I'm really focused on, that will actually affect you for the next 2 years. 2 years and a bit longer, is that Sun and Mars are joining, meeting, starting a new cycle in your 6th house. That's another house of work and employment. You see, the planets are truly kind of working in that direction for you this month. Not only this month, but for quite a while with the Sun and Mars. And as if you watch the intro, I speak there how this combination is one of incredible willpower. How this combination is where indomitable, indestructible willpower and focus, where you can do some feat of courage, where we can do something that you never had the willpower before. Because, as I said, it's activated not only in the most willful sign of willpower, Scorpio, the 2 most powerful planets of willpower, Sun and Mars, but in the most powerful nakshatra of purpose, focus, Vishaka. So, what is the 6th house? It's taking care of your health, for example. Wow! If you wanted to start some workout routine or to run Ironman, or I don't know, or maybe it's even just to start walking every day 10-15 minutes, and you never had the strength, you never had the motivation, you never had the willpower. That's often what it comes from. We never had enough focus. And people would ask me, how do I get focus? How do I get motivation and willpower? Well, now you will. Because it's almost like I often try to motivate myself for some things, and I just don't have the focus, the concentration, the obsession. You need to have the obsession. Well, this Sun-Mars combination in Scorpio will give you the obsession for the next 2 years of kind of obsessive focus, maybe to start a workout routine, maybe to really kind of change your diet. And again, the willpower that you have will be incomparable to other periods in your life. Because it's also the combination of the warrior there. You'll be like a warrior either for your health. You might go on a, what do they call, like a crusade. Definitely like a crusade to change your health, to explore different ways of healing, to change your eating, to exercise. Or if you're already in such a career, a trainer, nutritionist, healer, someone that works with people with mental health problems, or a doctor, or anyone who is in social services, anyone who is helping others with problems, that can be really, really mobilizing for 2.5 years, where you get a lot of work, or where it's kind of your work, there's this focus towards it, there is a lot of responsibilities, there is a lot to get done. You take it to the next level. Or even if you're someone who is a lawyer or military, it's the 6th house. People that are in places to resolve conflict and so on, in places where there is lack of balance. You might notice that for the next 2 years, there is this concentrated focus on your work that is going, I can't say without a hitch, because this is the warrior energy. So to fight for something, it is stressful. It's going to be stressful, but it can be extremely, you can achieve a lot, because this nakshatra, this lunar mansion, it's symbolized by an arc through which a warrior, like Arc de Triomphe in Paris, where the warrior returns triumphantly after a battle. So it's not going to be over a month, but within 2 years, you'll be like triumphantly passing through the arc, having overcome a health problems, having taken your health into nutritional health into hands with indomitable willpower that you never had before, or having your work, a 6th house is your employment or your work, having done a lot of work that you didn't have the power before, maybe some changing there. Mars and the Sun is about innovation. Mars is the planet of innovation. Even if you're meeting a lot of resistance and power struggles for that. I had in 2019, so in 2020 and 2021, this conjunction happened in my 6th house, so I can give you my personal experience, the 6th house from my Sun. And that was yeah, I had unfortunately, some health issues as well. So this is another thing that can activate. I had a health problem. It wasn't life threatening, but it was a recurring bronchitis and anxiety. So it can mean like you're battling with your health for something. But again, you win. You're the winner. There is this indomitable willpower in you right now to make it, to get to the bottom of it, to not just to make it, to thrive, not just to make it, to overcome it fully. So there might be this kind of health activations, I don't know, surgeries or something else, that you have to, but they can be just like a trigger for you to take responsibility and to start changing things. And there is also, I put so much energy into my work. I remember when I had this activation, and it was not in this powerful sign like it's for you now, Geminis. So there is this, and Saturn is in your 10th house for a year and a half, 2 years almost. And the Sun-Mars activation in the 6th house. Yes, Sun and Mars will be there just for a month. But remember, the cycle is active for 2 years. So it's like 2 years ahead. There is big focus on, and I know you might be, oh, that's boring, on getting things in order, your health. Maybe there might be some power struggles with colleagues or people at your work. Or you might be fighting for something that is, at your office, at your work, or you might be innovating something, or you might be changing your job. That's definitely something. So a lot of focus there because Mars is new energy in transformational Scorpio as well, or changing the nature of your job in some way, or putting a lot of energy there, basically, like what I did. As well, sixth house can be also debt. You might be trying to solve some debt and putting a lot of energy in it. Or, as I said, you might be actually fighting for someone who is in need, for the underdog. You might be very, sixth house rules wars, hunger, poverty. I'm not saying you'll be going through that, but it rules everything that is, in some imbalance. So it might be someone that is very focused. Your energy is a lot on such topics, whether on disease, war, poverty, or any kind of imbalances that you're digging to the bottom, you're researching that more, or you're directly involved in such kind of activities, not creating poverty, but fighting for those in poverty, helping those with whatever means you can, whether it's just by information, whether it's just by finances or physical work, So there might be some areas that you're really focused on for a few years. For year and 2 years, sorry. So there you go, guys. This is for you, Gemini. And of course, we have something else just for this month. Now, this is not long term. Venus is moving into your 5th house from the 10th. Approximately 9th, 10th of November. So the last 20 days, good times. The 5th house is house of enjoying yourself, having fun. And Venus loves being there because it allows those things to happen. And so definitely you can go to a few parties or enjoy more hobbies, have more time in the last 20 days of the month, even for more romance, you see. So romance, pleasurable enjoyments, entertainments, things that you love doing, sports as well that are fun, and connecting romantically, having good times as well. Mercury will be in your 7th house. It goes around the 9th, 10th again, and will stay there for some time. So there will be increased communications the last 20 days of the month as well. So you see, Venus and Mercury make things a bit joyful. It's not just work and responsibilities and organizing and putting order and cleaning, because 6th house can be also connected to those things. So there is a bit more joy as well there. With Venus and Mercury, there is some increased communications with others, increased mental work, interaction, social with others. So thank you so much, Gemini.